Welcome to the Two Girls and a Cup of Wellness podcast. I'm Marie. I'm a nurse practitioner committed to whole health care and helping my patients live vibrantly.
And I'm Chrissy, a yogi, breast cancer thriver, author of For the Love of Jugs, and guide for the mind, body, heart, soul healing. Together, we will empower you with integrative tools and real conversations. So grab your cup and dive into wellness with us.
Sarah Lascano is the founder of Rayzen Energy, a quantum bioenergetic therapist and author of The Hidden Force Within. As a recognized holistic and energy healing expert, she merges medical experience and engineering training with intuitive healing to help clients uncover what is blocking healing and achieve lasting wellness.
She collaborates with practitioners to bridge the gap between mind, body, and energy in healthcare, helping patients in thousands of sessions take charge of their health through powerful yet gentle healing that delivers exceptional results. Welcome to the Two Girls and a Cup of Wellness family, Sarah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another Two Girls and a Cup of Wellness podcast interview. Today, we're beyond thrilled to have our friend Sarah Lascano here with us with Rayzen Energy. Welcome, Sarah.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's such a joy to be with you.
Yeah, we're super excited. Now, I know that Sarah and Marie just met today, just a bit ago. And, but I had the pleasure of meeting Sarah, probably about a couple months ago now at the Annie Appleseed conference. And it was so great. I had a friend there that would allow me just to kind of put my stuff at the table, which happened to be right next to Sarah's table. And immediately when I walked up, I just felt calm and ease. Before we even spoke, I could just kind of feel the energy like this. She's good people, right? And then we just started chatting, and then both of us were like, yes, we need to do something. It was like immediate connection. And I, of course, obviously now doing the podcast was so just like, I really would love for you to be on the podcast. And she just accepted right away. So just excited to be here and to learn more about your story and what it is that you do. And really, I think that healing, energy healing in particular, is sometimes looked at quote unquote woo woo. And I hate that word, right? I don't love that.
That's the word.
But, you know, unless I can come up with a better one, there's obviously a lot of skeptics out there around energy healing, but it's so amazing. I mean, we are energy. So I would love to know, just to kind of start off with our, community and all of our listeners, for you to kind of give us a little background of what got you here today, what got you started with energy healing.
Well, it's a great story because I come from a family of doctors. I had medical experience by the time when I was in high school, by the time I graduated from high school. I have 2 engineering degrees. So I was stewed and rooted in analytical, scientific thinking and living, right? There was always a pill for everything. And I lived that way, relying on the medical system and what we're taught about health until my health crashed when I was pregnant with my first child after a bout of food poisoning. And I went to the doctor and asked for help, and they didn't have any answers. And they basically said, avoid the things that cause your symptoms, and that's all we can offer for you. And at the time, my child, after he was born, he had also similar health issues. And we were down to like 6 safe foods without symptoms. I had joint pain, I had fatigue, all kinds of symptoms that were systemic and not able to ignore. I mean, they were just life changing. So that's really what started my foray into alternative healing, thinking outside the box with my health. And after 7 or 8 years, I finally stumbled. We made progress, but it was like a spiral, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We finally found energy healing, energy medicine, actually. And within 3 sessions, our lives were just massively different. We expanded our diet by almost 50%, and I was completely hooked.
Wow. So
Wow, that's
energy
amazing.
medicine.
So
I
what
love
was that?
that.
What was that
Yeah.
first appointment?
Though that modality was an informational medicine modality called NMT, neuromodulation technique. And it's one of the tools that I learned to use myself so that I could help stop a food reaction in its tracks, which I later learned how to do in a different mechanism. But that's really what I really started playing with EFT. Most people have heard of EFT,
Hmm.
and I just started doing 5 minutes of tapping in my sauna every night as I was detoxing. And within 6 weeks, I felt totally different. And I didn't really understand why, but I knew I felt totally different. And so that really led me, I think, to the energy medicine modality.
Wow. Wow. And so you work with all different types of people from everywhere, not just in person, but also online. And what are some of the symptoms or diseases or situations that people come to you that you help kind of heal them through?
So, we definitely help support people through cancer journeys. We help minimize side effects. We help with anxiety. We help increase energy levels and appetite. We work with chronic infection patients. So, pandas, Lyme, strep, chronic strep infections, all of these situations, there's an underlying mechanism that the body is not able to heal itself. And we look and find what is blocking it. We work with a lot of folks with gut disturbance, food sensitivities, endocrine imbalance, like adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, burnout. Really, just about anything that is chronic and is not responding to efforts, there's usually an energetic blockage that is preventing progress. And we
Mm,
can usually help folks get some momentum.
yeah. Oh, that's so amazing.
Do you see a lot more endocrine issues than when you started?
Most people have endocrine. If you
Yeah.
have chronic fatigue, I mean, if you have chronic symptoms, most people have some factor of endocrine disruption, whether it's out of balance hormones, whether it's depleted adrenals or hyperstimulated
Mhm.
adrenals, or even thyroid imbalance. So, yes, uh, I wouldn't say it's inherent in almost everyone with chronic disease, but I think it's a key player in much,
Yeah.
yeah,
And kind of
imbalance in the body.
seeing that get more and more I'm not gonna say popular, but you see it
Prevalent
more
or
and more
talked about.
as we did an interview a few weeks ago on endocrine disruptors and
Just
just
toxins.
toxins, they're everywhere nowadays. So when it's one thing starting to occur in the body, then we have all that toxic overload. It's just they're gonna go hand in hand clearly.
They are. And, I was just talking with my 14-year-old last night actually about this because they all want to smell good and they want to eat what their friends are eating
Yeah.
and they want to fit in. But I'm trying to educate them that we need to be aware of toxins, not to be scared of the world. And that's something we do work with. We want to make sure that fear of living is not there because we do clear that for people often to help them get better. But we want to be understanding that we don't want endocrine disruptors living in our bodies and creating a ruckus.
Yeah. 'Cause clearly we live at a different time
We do.
now.
Like with the scents, especially. I used to have all the scented candles when I clean the house up, and I've changed the deodorant, and I don't wear perfume anymore. It gives me a headache.
When
I
you
can
walk into
smell
somebody's house,
perfume, and
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it gives me a headache. So it's amazing how your body gets muted with the almost muted, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't notice it, but then when you clean it up,
When you are around it, how it affects you
right,
automatically.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I also want to kind of highlight that Sarah is also author of The Hidden Force Within. I have her book here, and it is such a beautiful, easy read. And you give a lot of helpful tools. I'll call them tools for people to be able to do some of this energy healing themselves. And with everything, it always starts with consciousness, being aware of when something feels out of alignment energy wise. But most people are not taught, like we spoke about, not taught how to understand their own energy. However, when you walk into a room, I think most people who are in tune can pick up on energy. Oh, I don't like that person's energy. The
Mhm.
energy in the room felt stuffy or heavy, right? But when people start to think about what's going on in their lives, we don't really think about that unless you're really in this world, right? And in the healing world. But so just the awareness around understanding when your energy feels off is obviously the first layer, I think, to being able to then shift it and change it. And what I love about the book, in chapter 9, I have it open, is the EMOT process, because I think that is one quick way for people to help move the energy. So, can you talk about that real quick?
Yes, absolutely. I like to teach in my courses that 80% of the solution is often just knowing about something. And we know that from the Pareto principle, right? We know that 80% is is so much of the problem, and often all we need to do is be present with it and know it's there. So all we have to do is know it's there. How do we do that? We have to just give ourselves a moment of pause to feel what's happening in our body. And we don't have to know details. We don't have to know stories. We don't even really have to know the origin of some of this emotion or mental belief systems or stored energy or interference and noise. That's what I think of it as. It's interference and noise that is keeping our body from proper function. But just by tuning in and listening or feeling when we feel agitated and giving the body permission, giving that energy permission to be there. Usually the first thing we do is try to talk ourselves out of it. We try to fix it or talk ourselves out of it or suppress it. We can't do that. We've just got to allow it, and then we give it permission to move. And so it's a very simple process. We don't have to know any detailed skills. We don't have to be a psychic. We don't have to have a super active intuition. All we have to do is be willing to pause, give permission, and let something change. And that opening can create miraculous shifts.
Yeah. I mean, I've had that happen with myself in my own healing, but then also in my yoga sessions too, whether it's a group session or my private sessions, just being able to give the body permission to feel it, but not label it, not judge it, not have to feel like you have to fix anything either, but just being with it, recognizing it, understanding, like you said, that it's there, but then have some of the little simple tools to be able to work through it, I guess. I know I talk a lot about breath work and grounding. We've talked a lot
Mhm.
about grounding and moving your body, even just like shaking it out, whatever makes sense to you. But I think having a modality to go to help just move that energy out and through. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. It's so important. And I used to get agitated and I didn't know why. So I think a lot of us can relate to that. We get stressed, we have a rough day, we come home and we feel like we're just agitated and we don't exactly know what is underlying that. If we just pause and give ourselves a couple of moments, either a quick walk outside where we're calming our mind or just sitting and taking a couple of deep breaths, we can often clear that energy. And when we do that, we're not just clearing what's in the moment, we're clearing something bigger than that because it's connected, it's there for a reason. And when we allow it to shift, we allow deeper healing, which is very exciting.
It
I
is.
love thinking about that idea 'cause it's very empowering.
Yeah, I think whenever we can do something ourselves and we don't necessarily need somebody to help us shift, that's great. However, as you work with many people and you work with many people and I work with many people, we understand that there comes a time where they do need additional assistance, right? Where they just physically can't move it out or energetically move it out of their bodies, or they need to take supplements or they need, right? So there is obviously that time. But when you have some of your clients working with you, is it, I mean, I'm sure it's different for each person, but is it one or two series or is it multiple appointments? How many like appointments do you typically work with your clients?
We typically work in 3 and 6 month programs. Because we're working with people, typically our one-on-one work is typically with people who have a significant health issue they're trying to overcome, whether it's anxiety or whether it's a cancer journey, and a significant health problem. And so we have found that a 3 or 6 month container is a lovely way to go deep, to empower people to start noticing what's happening in their body, to give them simple skills to be able to shift energy for themselves and to move the big blocks so that they can do that with relative ease. And we find that usually if it's a big issue and someone's got a lot of interference that they've accumulated over the years, 6 months is a really good time horizon. If they've done a lot of work on their own and they're pretty aware, but they're still a little bit stuck, the 3 month can be enough time. But that gives us a nice program for people, not just for us to move what's creating blockage in the body, but also to help empower them with some new ways of moving through those agitating moments.
Yeah.
Mm.
I love the word interference.
I hear generalized anxiety disorder and everything you two are talking about.
Yeah.
I would say about 80% of the patient population in primary care has anxiety.
Well, I mean,
And
think about how much is at our
I
fingertips
know,
and constant. Like, there really is no downtime unless you force yourself. And most people still don't even force themselves to
or
slow
their
down.
downtime is looking at a screen
Right.
and
That's
doom
not
scrolling at
downtime.
night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you're still being flooded with stimulation.
Mm.
Hmm.
And
Uh, yep.
my question to you, Sarah, is so many people are so eager for medication. And as you know, medications for anxiety come with some serious, as any medication comes with serious risks and
What are you
addiction.
talking about? All the 50, do not this may cause this in all of the commercials.
Commercials. So I know with my patients, I'm not easy to prescribe and I like to talk to them about, I call them coping mechanisms, but I'm liking these words better.
Yeah.
So that would be really great is to do a program. Because when you have have you had an anxiety attack? Have you,
I have
Sarah?
not, thankfully.
It is like having a heart attack.
Postpartum, yes, I had, yes.
Postpartum.
I
Mhm.
had one younger and I said I could never let myself get into that way. You start sweating, you're having heart palpitations. It's like physiologically like having a heart attack.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we know from the research that I think the estimate is as high as 90% of doctor visits are traced back to a stress induced complaint. So we know that it affects the physiology. We know that stress lays the groundwork. We know that our overstimulated world is making it worse.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean I've met more young people under the age of 25 with anxiety than without.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
honestly, I
it's
don't
terrible.
think that COVID helped. I know from my children who during 2020, my son was a senior in high school, and my daughter was a freshman in high school. And then I got diagnosed later in the year of 2020 with breast cancer. So I saw a huge change in my children after 2020. And um, just with the anxiety and the not wanting to be in huge crowds and things like that or parties, like definitely saw some changes. And it's kind of like I think it was because of that time frame. And then
Hmm.
just now also with social media so much at their fingertips, it just the constant stimulation
Hmm.
is not helping. We need to slow things down.
Yeah, we find really amazing results with anxiety in particular, very quick results. And we have digital tools too that don't require one on one working directly with us to be able to get help quickly and in a simple self help way. But we just really have to calm that nervous system. It's all about calming the nervous system. And the present situation is triggering the nervous system, but there's always some energy from something that's unresolved from the past or something that's been picked up from other people, especially our parents, our siblings, even our teachers and coaches. There usually is a thread of energy that needs to be resolved, and all of a sudden the nervous system can start feeling calmer.
Yeah. And more safe. And yeah. I have a question. So when you are working with some of your clients, that are going through a protocol. Maybe it is cancer or lung disease or heart disease, and they have their doctors that they're working with. How understanding are the doctors? Are they on board with the work that you're doing also?
Yeah, it's really complementary because I don't prescribe. We don't
Mhm.
prescribe at all. We are strictly working with energy. Everything we do is free of side effects. In fact, it decreases side effects because we're strengthening the body from its foundation. We're making it inherently stronger and lighter and less
Mm.
stressed. And we're not replacing, we're really integrating into whatever they're doing. So we're improving the patient's response to whatever else they're doing. Now, we do work with people who are trying to get off medication or the medication
Mm.
isn't working or they're having side effects. But most of the time, we are just improving the patient's response to everything they're doing so that they can get better results, longer lasting, better results.
That's really what integrative care should be.
It
It's
should.
bridging the gap between the Eastern and the Western.
Hmm.
And I really hope that more and more doctors and people from the medical side of things get on board with this type of healing because it is a complementary type of healing. And as I mentioned to you before, Sarah, and if for those of you who have read my book or have followed me for a while, I too did some energy healing during my cancer journey. And with my friend Farrell, and hopefully Farrell will come on too. Um, She's a pranic energy healer. So I'm sure it's a little different than the type of energy medicine healing that you do. But I do believe that that helped me significantly not feel as terrible from the side effects of chemo, be able to heal faster, to be able to heal some of maybe my past trauma or not hold on to some of the trauma of the cancer diagnosis in general, right? So it helped my healing completely. So I'm a huge advocate for energy healing alongside and any other protocols, but again, alongside your that bridging the gap between the Eastern and the Western world. Like we have to come together and create more of that.
Mm.
So the work that both of you are doing is so beautiful in that.
Yeah, and I think the time is right. There are more functional medicine is growing massively in our country. There are many practitioners that are open-minded to
Yeah.
looking at the entire person. And so I'm not finding any resistance in the people that come to me who are working with a doctor. It's usually a welcome addition to their
Beautiful.
treatment plan. I'm sure there are doctors that don't agree with that or they think that it's inconsequential because it can't work. That's fine, but I think the time is right. I think we have an opportunity to equip people with tools that they can use to empower their own healing and improve their response to everything else they're doing, whether it's functional, whether it's homeopathic, whether it's a naturopathic doctor, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I just had a question and now it escaped me. But oh no, I wanted to come back to this. Just a bit ago, you mentioned that some of the clients that you work with don't have to work with you one on one, that you do have kind of a digital option as well. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. I've accumulated a library of think of them as meditations, but they are actually it's an energy healing session, energy medicine session being delivered as you listen.
Mm.
And so these are digital audios that actually shift your energy. And they're general enough to apply many times. You can listen to them many times in a row and get a different response each time. But they're specific enough to be oriented toward a theme. So I have one that balances the immune system, and I have one that detoxes the liver, and I have one that's for anger, managing anger in the body, just a variety over 40 of these different sessions, everything from sleep to headaches to pain. And it's a self-help library that really you can choose what resonates in the moment and help yourself shift energy with a tool you can use at home.
I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. You guys need to
I
work
know. I'm thinking about
together.
my 15-year-old son right now.
I know. And both of my children, I've already thought multiple times about this.
You might need that.
Oh,
But it
but
can't come from me. It has to come
yeah,
from you
yeah.
because I know nothing.
But I could see just again what you're doing energetically and also just as a byproduct of empowering people to understand what doesn't feel right. Now, here's a library of all of these things that you can go and try as a tool. But again, the first thing is they have to understand what doesn't feel right. And that's the whole concept of
Yeah.
our podcast, is always coming back to empowering the listeners, empowering all of our friends and community to listen to their bodies and to understand their bodies more and to love on their bodies more and nourish their bodies more and
Mm.
to take their lives to a whole other level with empowerment. So,
I have a question. So, in a few weeks, we've been asked to speak to a MOPS group, which is called Mothers of Preschoolers, and our topic is how to raise healthy children in an unhealthy world. So, if you were there and you had 5 minutes, what would you recommend?
Our body knows how to talk to us if we can just learn how to listen. And so I began teaching my children how to listen to their bodies at a very young age. And I would tell any mother or father, any caregiver, to let them learn to listen to their body. Ask them, what does your body think? How does your body feel? What do you notice in your body? And let them learn how to listen. Our children are born knowing this, and typically they're very in tune. They just they forget because we focus so much on the five sensory world rather than feeling what's happening in the body.
I
And
just got
so
the
just
chills.
as you said, we want people to listen to our body. I believe the body actually holds the keys to getting us well. I believe the body knows exactly how to get us to wellness. We just need to learn to listen to it. So I teach people to do that with intuition, but our children already know that. They don't
Hmm.
need to learn how to listen. They just need to be given the encouragement and the space, and then just to trust whatever even if it seems wrong, just trust it
Yeah.
and let them really learn to respect what their body is telling them.
And I think as moms too, it's really important for us and parents in general and caregivers and all the things, but we're all moms. So for us to, it's easy to be like, "Ugh, what you're feeling, oh, stop. Don't, we kind of poo poo it a little bit, right? Or
Mm.
shut it down a little bit. And I think as moving forward, the way of parenting, we really do need to listen to our children more and allow that inner voice to come out and help them understand it. But what our children feel is going to be different than what we feel, right? Because we all are different.
Hmm.
But I know there's been many times that my kids would say something and I'm like, oh, stop. That's not what you're feeling or what, whatever. But it's true. They do know. And when we do that, when we poo poo it or we shut it down, we are silencing their own intuition and that own inner voice. And we really want for them to be more empowered and to listen to that and to be able to speak it and to feel safe speaking it. So that's
Yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
I just had a situation the other day where my younger one was riding a bike with my older one, and he said, "Mommy, that didn't feel safe to me." And so I had a golden opportunity. What body tells you is the most important thing, so you need to listen to that. That means you shouldn't be doing that if it doesn't feel safe to you. And so I could have said, "Oh, well, it's probably fine. Your brother's been riding his bike a long time." But instead, I really took the opportunity to help him honor what he was feeling. And if we can just pick a few moments like that, they will learn to trust their inner voice.
Hmm.
Yeah. What advice would you give to, because I know there's a lot of people walking around very unconscious, right? But a diagnosis of some sort, a disease of some sort really does open the eyes to a lot of people. So if somebody were diagnosed and they're wanting to make some changes, what would some offerings be for you to help people to become maybe a little bit more aware or start listening to their inner voice more, start playing with their own energy? What are like maybe, a few top things for you?
So one of my this is a very simple recommendation anyone can do. This is one of my top recommendations for my students. Right before you go to bed, just take a couple of deep breaths, clear your mind, and tune into your body and let it share anything it wants to share. And some days there might be nothing. Some days you might feel an emotion. Some days you might have a situation that caused you stress and you can go back and process it, think through it, work through it in your mind before you go to sleep. just 2 minutes a day doing that right before you go to sleep can actually start over time. It will really open up the body's ability to speak to you. And so it's a very simple way to start listening and training that connection with your body and its ability to receive information. And then in a more structured way, I have lots of free mini audios that are available in various places, including my website, that will actually guide you through a short meditation that will actually shift energy. And
Mm.
when we do that, I like to think of the energy field as holding interference. Think of it as static.
Mm.
If you remember on the radio, you're hearing static and you're trying to get the right signal. The signal can't quite come through because of all the static. And that's what's happening in our energy. If we can just lower the static a bit, we can start hearing with much more clarity. And so that's what we're doing when we do that 2 minutes right before we go to sleep, or we listen to some energy shifting meditation, or we do some tapping 5 minutes a day. We're allowing the static to start to lower so that we can actually hear other signals that are very impactful.
It's amazing information and tips there because by the end of the day, we've consumed so much. So at the end of the day, just being
Hmm.
able to decompress. And I love that analogy of the static
Yeah, I like
is,
that. That was a good one.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, this was amazing. I
Hmm.
mean, I think that you have helped open the eyes of a lot of our listeners, hopefully, um, to understanding that energy medicine and energy healing is a thing that is so important for all of us to start to incorporate and start to bring into our routine. And just the 2 minutes at the end of the day at night, right before you go to bed, is really a beautiful offering for ourselves to just, turn down the volume of the outer
Hmm.
noise and listen to ours. So, thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was really fun. I appreciate being here with you.
Nice meeting you.
All right. Well, we will leave
Thank
all
you.
of your information below. So if you guys wanted to reach out, you'll have all of her contact information and go on her website and take a look at all of her offerings because she is one special lady and we all need a little Sarah in our life, I believe.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care.
Until next time, guys. Bye.